Come on in, Kaylee.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Breakfast with Disaster. Let me bring my Facebook up. Got all sorts of fun people on already. John Mao, office well represented. Hi, Noelle. Hi, Maria. Hi, Diane. Jennifer. We're at the Randall Agency. Lynn, how's it going? We've got all sorts of people here. I've got all sorts of people here, too. Kaylee's here.
Yes, I am here.
Will you reintroduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Kaylee. I'm downstairs in the front office. So when you guys call, you're most likely going to get myself or Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take good care of you.
All right. We got Betty. This is Tyler Ledwin's mom.
Oh, very nice.
So now you guys can say that you've met.
Yes. Good morning.
We have, let me just make sure, check the picture. Come in a little bit
Okay.
more. I'll move over.
Okay.
We'll make room. We only have this little square.
We have big chairs, though.
We have
Our
big
chairs are very big.
yes. Today, so I should probably introduce the show, right? This is Breakfast with Disaster. We do this every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the dot, and it has one simple goal. We tell you all the most horrible things that can happen to you so that you can hopefully avoid them. You, or if you're an insurance agent, your insureds, if you're a property manager, your tenants, anybody who's looking to you for guidance in trying times, hopefully we can help all of you. And this is actually sort of a scary show today.
It is.
It is a scary show.
Scary.
I'd be curious, actually, Kaylee, because you've worked here, what, like 4 months, 5 months?
I feel like it's longer than that. I feel like 6.
6 months, okay.
Yeah, August, I think.
How has this job, or has it, changed your perspective, or how has it changed you? What have you learned in 6 months?
I reviewed all my coverages for everything.
Okay.
I doubted myself on everything.
Yeah?
Everything with homeowners
Did you find
insurance,
anything
absolutely.
crazy?
Yeah, I don't have mold coverage.
Didn't have mold coverage?
Didn't have mold coverage.
Did you have-
My fire's pretty good.
Fire's good.
I did know about that.
Do you have water
covered
backup
myself.
coverage?
I don't have sump pump coverage.
Oh, and there's a lot of insurance agents who
are just turning over like, oh no,
my God,
no.
you're gonna get a lot of phone calls.
I know.
Trying to add something onto your
I know.
policy after this.
I know. I'm pretty bad.
Yeah. I think in general for me, one thing that I've noticed is I am much more I'm turning into a germaphobe. Not even a germaphobe, but you know how people are constantly you become aware of all these risks and then
Yes.
you're constantly thinking about them.
Yes.
I'll walk into a restaurant and I'll look and see if they have sprinklers in the restaurant.
Oh yes.
And one thing that I've started to think about this week, a new category of fear, is fires. I was kind of, ignorant of a lot of the risks and what that process
Right.
goes after you have a fire. You've never had a fire, right?
No.
But you deal with people who have.
Oh yes.
And is it easy for them?
No.
What's it like?
I don't feel like any part of the whole process is easy because sometimes I'll get a little bit of both sides. I'll get the ones who have calmed down and realized and just kind of kicked into take care of everything mode versus the ones who just found out and who don't know what's going on and just terrified and panicked.
And
so,
it's not a thing most people have dealt with before. It can be confusing. People don't know what to do.
Yes, because I feel like when I think of fire, I think of I don't ever want to catch on fire.
Yes,
and that's
personally.
all I think of personally.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Exactly.
That's what we're going to talk about.
So now I kind of get the other side of all my stuff is on fire. Where am I going to sleep? What am I going to wear? Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're at the tail end of what is classically known as fire season. You tend to see more fires in the fall and winter, and technically we are approaching spring. Sometimes it does not feel that way. I don't have the statistics, but it has seemed like there have been a lot more fires than usual this year.
I'm new to the fire business, but it was a lot for me this year.
This is a fire that we've got up on the screen. This was a really terrible one up in West Seneca recently at Buffalo's Best Catering by Kim. They lost everything.
Yeah.
This building was demolished that night. This fire happened Sunday down at the Pine Harbor Apartments downtown. One big fire right after the other. This was about $600,000 of damage in this fire. And even past that, there's just been, it feels more like residential fires, even small ones.
Yeah.
And fires are different every time, right? They bring sort of different damages. Some are really small, contained. Some are total losses.
Yep, definitely.
And there's lots of different types of damage. You have the actual fire, things burning down.
Right.
You got smoke getting everywhere, causing damage, causing staining, causing odor.
Oh, yes.
You got water damage if the fire department had to go in and actually, with hoses and put the fire out. Extensive water damage sometimes.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've learned about this week that is now scary and terrifying to me,
Great.
now scary and terrifying everybody else,
Great.
is something that gets ignored a lot because it's invisible to the naked eye a lot of the time.
Okay.
It's not in your face, and people ignore it all the time, or people don't really think about it, or not. So I want to make sure that we're educating people about it, and that is soot, which doesn't seem like that big a deal, right? Compared to like your house burning down, it's just this like pile of black powder, right?
I would think I would take that over my house burning down. Yes.
Yeah. And well, I mean, understandably so. So soot, SOOT, because I'm probably saying it with some weird Pittsburgh accent.
Probably.
I'm afraid of.
That's okay. That's okay. Our Pittsburgh or our Pennsylvania comes through. It's okay. It's okay.
It's part of what's produced by the smoke when things burn.
Right.
There's the toxic gas side of smoke, and then there's the solid particulate matter. That's soot.
Right.
And it's bad news. In one hand, yes, it is just like plain annoying. It's very difficult to clean.
Mm-hmm.
You've never had to go out on a fire cleaning, but I'm sure you could ask any of the techs here.
Oh my gosh.
Fire cleaning can be really tedious because you're cleaning everything, and cleaning up soot itself can be really tough because it's greasy and it just settles everywhere. It smells. But most people don't realize actually that it's very dangerous as well for your health.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you have dealt with, you talked on the phone with people who, after they have a fire, they go right back into their house. Or they want to go right back into their house.
They want to go back in their house.
They will gladly live and enter an environment that's contaminated by, among other things, soot, because they don't really realize how harmful it is. So I kind of want to set the record straight a little bit. It is more than just like a greasy black gross powder.
Great.
This is somebody trying to kind of sketch out what chemically soot is, and I'm not the scientist of the family, that's Nikki, but there's a lot that goes on in just that little black powder. Depending on the material that was burnt, the soot from a structure fire contained tens of thousands of different chemicals, a lot of them toxic. If you can compare that to like cigarette smoke, it has about 7,000 chemicals. Not safe. You wouldn't want to breathe that in either.
No.
But soot is a whole nother like level of magnitude of whatever burnt is in there, in that little black powder, or can be in that little black powder.
Yeah. Can I change my answer, please,
what's
from
your
the
answer?
Beginning? Can I not have this? And I'll take the house.
Yeah, well...
Okay, I'll swap that out, please.
Yeah, let's just hope you never have either.
I don't want either one.
One of the things about soot is that, so we look at this little black powder. Soot is much more than this. That's the soot you can see. That's kind of gathered up. The soot that you can see is like a fraction of the actual soot that's in the environment after a fire. The rest can be floating around in the air or be trapped in your air ducts, and you can't see it. Soot particles can be as small as like 1/3 the size of a red blood cell. I think we have like a particle image trying to get a sense of how small soot is. It's like all the way on the left here. Here's a human hair fiber, all the way to the biggest thing. Soot is like 2.5 microns sometimes. It's ultra fine, little tiny particles.
Yeah.
And because they're that small, they're actually more dangerous than larger particles. Any guess why that is?
I feel like, can you breathe them in a lot
can,
easier
yes.
than anything else?
And your body is like completely incapable of filtering them out, as opposed to
great.
your average like dust mote that gets stuck in your nose and you sneeze and it's very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like one of the Stephen Dwarves. Ultrafine particles, there's about 20,000 people die every single year from breathing in all sorts of different ultrafine particles, but a big chunk of that is soot. It's just so small it can penetrate all the way to your deep lungs. It doesn't get filtered out.
Oh my God.
And people don't even know they're being exposed because they can't see it. They don't know. It's just floating around in the air. Maybe they're trying to get back in their house to get their belongings, and they're in there for a short time without any sort of PPE, or maybe they, like you said, they want to move back in.
They want
to get back to normal.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes people jump the gun on that, and they get exposed to this stuff. In terms of what's actually so dangerous in it, there's a lot of different things, and we'll get to what that. It came up transparent, so you can't really see it, but what that chemical is. It depends on what's being burned, right? Because soot is just that solid part of the smoke.
Yeah.
There are a couple of common offenders because buildings tend to be made out of the same material, so you're going to run into the same sort of stuff when you have a structure fire. And you'll probably have heard of some of these. Arsenic, fun.
Oh,
Formaldehyde, fun. Mercury, great.
Ooh.
Benzene, which is a terrible carcinogen. All of that tends to be pretty commonly in the smoke from a structure fire. And many of these compounds, and that's what this little molecule is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a dioxin, which I had to look up. I do not remember this from chemistry class. But dioxins are bad news.
Oh.
You ask the EPA about a dioxin, they're going to tell you it is second only to radioactive waste in terms of its toxicity.
Oh my god.
It's produced when basically anything containing carbon or chlorine is burned. It's categorized as like a terrible, terrible pollutant, and after you have a fire, it is most likely in your home.
Yeah.
Most common offender is like PVC piping that burns, which basically everybody has in their house,
has.
especially
Oh my
like in
gosh.
your basement, all your plumbing. That burns, that produces dioxins of all stripes. And when you breathe these in, terrible things can happen. This is the scariest part. We're going to get over this together.
I don't know if I will. It's another thing to keep me up tonight.
Okay. Short-term dioxins can cause like skin lesions and liver failure.
Ooh, okay.
In the long term, they can totally cripple your immune system, your nervous system, your endocrine system, your reproductive system, all your systems.
All the systems. Okay.
But here's the scary part. A dioxin, and this is the reason why it's such a bad pollutant, is chemically stable, which means it doesn't break down over time. Not certainly as fast as you would like it to. Right. So you ingest it, which you can inhale it, you can ingest it topically, like just from exposure to your skin. It seeps into your fatty tissue, and it stays there forever. And when I say forever, I mean like forever, forever. They have found people who have been exposed to dioxins not only retain those for the rest of their life, but it changes their genetic code so they're capable of passing it down to their children, that dioxin poisoning.
So if I have a fire now and I could give it to any future children possibly?
Yeah, and given, I'm not saying that this happens to everyone or even happens to most people, but it can happen. And I think extra scary and weird and like sci-fi about it is it can even, they've studied it skipping generations. So you're exposed, it skips a generation, but then your kids have dioxins in their fatty tissue. It's very, very incredibly persistent.
That is very sci-fi-ish.
It is very sci-fi and very scary.
We should make a movie about this.
I would not watch it. And I'm not bringing this up necessarily to scare anyone. Fires are scary. Yeah, and this is scary. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And it's something that up until now I probably didn't know enough about. Because when you deal with fire cleaning, when you talk to people about fire cleaning, what are they most concerned about?
Their stuff.
Their stuff.
Their valuables, my grandmother's blanket, my baby pictures of my kids, that kind of stuff. I feel like it's more the stuff that they can't replace.
Sure.
They can get a new couch, a new fridge. Oh, I just got this washer I loved. I can buy a new one.
Yeah.
You can't buy new things like that from family members and stuff. So.
And I think what I see a lot is specifically the odor. Like the smell of smoke, they can't get it out of their nostrils, they can't get it out of their clothes, they can't get it out of that stuff.
That is true.
And odor is a big deal. It's one of the things that we try to restore, remediate, whatever the most after a fire, but it's not the only thing. It is really important to approach a fire cleaning in the right way, knowing all of this stuff, because you have to make that space safe again.
Right.
And sometimes the thing that you're dealing with that makes it unsafe is totally invisible. There's a reason that when we go through and do these fire cleanings, when we're scoping them out, we're looking at every single room. And if there's soot in that room, we tend to want to clean that entire room. And it's not because we're greedy.
Definitely.
It's because we know the fire, the soot, the smoke penetrate into that room. And you cannot take a risk with something like that.
No.
Especially because you can't see it. It's like mold. The whole reason the remediating mold is so complicated is because it's microscopic a lot of the time. Those spores are. Same thing with soot. And you can see terrible, terrible consequences if you don't get it right. So people tend to kind of want to clean their own stuff, or they have a bottle of degreaser and a rag, and they're trying to get the black spot off the wall, and that is a fraction of what needs to happen to make a space safe again.
Yeah.
So, kind of a downer. I'm sorry. You want to bring the mood back up?
I don't even know how I could at this
We're
point.
going to give away money.
Oh.
A prize.
Okay, then yeah, prizes are great. Let's do that.
We are going to give away a prize, as we do for the Serve Pro Mug Club. And if you guys bump on into the frame here, because you're going to have to do the number call.
Okay.
This is for the Serve Pro Mug Club, and if you're in the Serve Pro Mug Club, you know. And if you aren't, here's what it is. You get a very cute little coffee mug. It's got a number on the bottom. I register that number to this wheel. If I call your number, you win a prize. And if you're watching and I call your number, you win a double prize. So if you are watching and you haven't commented yet, then I have no idea you're there. Comment, say hello, say how you doing, tell Kaylee she did a great job, hanging out, whatever you want to say, so that we know you're there. We'll give you a couple seconds as we bring up the listing and see who's here. Megan, Maria, Maria had an insured who had soot damage from candles. Was that?
I feel like I've had so many of those the past like 2 weeks.
Did we work on that one, Maria? We definitely did a one very recently.
Definitely.
I don't want to say anybody's name over, on the air and blow up anybody's spot, but we've definitely done a lot of those. Morning, Kristen, Danielle, Sam, Melissa, Nicole, Brianna, Kathy, Lisa, Jackie, Kathy, Betty. Everybody's here. Okay, guys, ready to win some prizes? Holly, hey, how's it going? Got a whole killer's row here. Good turnout today. Everybody's here to see Kaylee. All right, ready, Kaylee?
Yep, go for it.
Uh-oh, it's not playing the sound.
Oh.
All right.
That's the best part, man.
Well, crap.
It's okay.
It's a live stream. We don't get any do-overs. All right, you got 313.
313. Okay.
That is going to be...
Oh, I think it's me. Shucks.
Nope, it's Amber over at JP Ross's office.
Ooh,
Amber, I don't know if you're on, but if you are, you have a couple more seconds to send a comment. Otherwise, we'll give you a call. We'll stop over soon. That's like right around the corner.
Oh, that's
very nice people there.
yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, joining. If you have any questions about fires or soot or smoke or anything, you can always ask us. If you need any help with that stuff, certainly give us a call. We are here 24/7 for a reason, because this stuff is serious and usually cannot wait. We will see you next Tuesday. I might not be here next Tuesday, actually. We may be taking a break. I got to check my schedule here. I will send out an email because I'm sure everybody's looking forward to this every week. But it's been a pleasure spending this morning with you. Anything else you want to say, Kaylee?
No. We'll just be here to take care of you. That's all. So that'll be my high note to end this on.
Oh, that is
we'll
nice.
Take care of
See,
you.
There's something happening.
I gotta find something positive somehow. This is sad.
All right, everybody, have a good day.
Yeah.
Try not to think too much about all the awful things we just said, and
Yes.
we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.